Hello again and welcome to the third video in this series where we're looking in a little bit more depth at what is asana and some related topics. In today's video we're going to talk briefly about what are the benefits of practicing asana. So as we talked about, asana is the movement portion of the 8 limbs of yoga. Now if we start in the physical domain, as we know, asana is movement. Asana is either dynamic movement or moving and then staying statically in a posture for a period of time. So one of the obvious benefits, or two of the obvious benefits, ones I would guess that probably asana are most known for, is the ability for our practice to develop both strength in our body as well as suppleness or flexibility. So of course, by moving in and out of postures, by staying in postures for reasonable periods of time, it encourages our body to become more flexible, to become used to movements that we perhaps don't usually make. And of course, when we're staying in postures for longer periods of time, our ability to sustain those postures requires us to become stronger and more stable generally within the body, within our muscles, within our joints, ligaments, tendons, and so forth. So those are two benefits which surely most of us already know about, and probably some of the main reasons why people come to practice asana in the first place. At a slightly deeper physiological level, there are also a number of benefits that asana brings to the body. The first one, if we're practicing asana correctly, and please refer to the previous video in relation to that, if we are encompassing body, breath, mind, and sthira and sukham, stability and ease, then through bringing those 3 things or 5 things together, what happens is we actually help to strengthen and subdue and calm our nervous system. And that is a major benefit, because what that does is it helps to regulate many of the processes that are going on in our body at any given time, whether it be the heart rate, the efficacy of the way that we're breathing, our blood pressure, the way in which hormones are secreted into the body, and many other things. So that's a major benefit at a slightly more subtle physiological level. Similarly, when we move into certain postures and when we breathe correctly in the posture, when we breathe long and smooth, we also help to give the inner aspects of our body, the organs, the muscles and the tissues, almost like an inner massage, and we help to move them, we help to stretch them, we help to twist them, which again helps to make them more healthy, helps us to release any stagnant energy, helps us to release any stagnant liquids or lymph or whatever it might be in the body, and helps to improve our circulation, helps to improve blood flow, and so on and so forth. So again, these physiological benefits are well known, but it's useful just to restate them to know that every time we practice, these are the things that are accruing as benefits. But perhaps in areas where we may not think, and what is so unique about the Krishnamacharya system of asana and yoga practice, is that because breath is a central tenet of the asana practice, what it means is that also one of the benefits of our asana practice is that as we develop a long and slow breath, we start to actually improve the strength, resilience, and capacity of our cardiovascular system. So particularly in terms of lengthening the breath, we improve all of the musculature and the support systems around the ribs and around the abdomen that help us to breathe more slowly, more fully, more deeply, and more completely. In addition to this, as we breathe more slowly and we also are more controlled in the way that we exhale, this long exhalation also helps again to calm our nervous system and to help activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which helps to bring us down out of fight and flight and bring us down into more relaxed and calm states. Another benefit also is to help move prana or life force more fluidly around our system. So in yoga philosophy, prana is understood to be the life force energy that sustains us in this body. Where there are blockages and where there are stagnations, it means that this energy or this prana cannot flow fluidly through our system, and as a result of that, these stagnations can cause a number of issues both at the physiological and at the psychological level. So through practicing a well-constructed asana sequence, we can actually help to unlock some of these blockages and unpick some of the knots in our system that may inhibit the ability for the prana to flow freely in our system. And the final benefit that I'd like to mention today, which again is very, very closely linked to the Krishnamacharya way of practice, is the benefits to the mind. Because we have to bring our attention consciously into our practice to practice well, to practice with stability, to practice with ease, to develop this long, slow breath that accompanies each movement of our asana practice, we need to be highly concentrated and highly focused each time we step onto the mat for the duration of our time on the mat until the end of our practice. And so therefore one of the benefits of asana practice is that it actually helps us in order to develop deeper concentration powers. The more and more we practice, the more concentrated, the more one-pointed we become, and therefore the more engaged and more absorbed we become in the practice in general. The last benefit that I'd like to mention today actually goes beyond what we've talked about in terms of the physiological and the psychological, and it actually is a benefit that accrues to help us move to the next stage of the limbs of yoga. So the next limb of yoga is pranayama, which literally means life force extension, but is often now referred to as breath work. We use the breath in order to control the prana. But we can't do that without a reasonable mastery of asana, the ability to remain in postures in a stable and steady and calm way with long, slow breath over a period of time with total focus. Through developing all of those skills, it means that when we come to practice pranayama, we already have an understanding of our breath. We've already worked on being able to sit still for longer periods of time, and we've already started to develop the concentration that is needed in order that we sustain longer and longer periods of pranayama practice. So these are the main benefits we're going to talk about today. As always, I hope you found this video useful, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video in this series. Many thanks. Namaste.